So here I am today with a very dear friend, Sandy, who I met back in 2014 when we went over there to run a consciousness seminar. So Brian and I were over there and we had a very full class. And I remember Sandy was really only a couple of rows from the front. And there was something about us connecting. It was like we'd met a soul brother. And immediately we connected. And we haven't stopped connecting since. In fact, Sandy came to Australia and we had the honour of him staying with us for that period of time. And Sandy's really interesting because he's got an interesting journey, like many of us have had an interesting journey. And certainly we're all on a wellness journey, especially with what's happening in the outer world currently. And I think the biggest topic that we can touch on today also is just the amount of toxins that are coming left, right, and centre. And I don't want to mention some of those. Maybe we can use code words for them, but certainly we want to touch on those things because now more than ever, it's going to be really important how we support our body to detox. So giving you a little bit of about Sandy, I'd love to, Sandy, you know, we connected, as I said, but I'd love you to just share some of the journey that you've been on, especially in the wellness space and what happened with you.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Firstly, Marion, thank you. And we met in 2014 on that retreat, which was amazing. I probably annoyed you and Brian with all of my questions, but I really loved meeting you and I value our friendship, so thank you. Okay, so you want to know about my journey, yeah?
Yeah, I think it's important people understand a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
What drives, so what leads you to finding.
Yeah, no problem. Firstly, I'm just a regular guy. Vocationally, I've been doing security at events since 2015 because I was just sick of the corporate life and I just wanted an easy job, so I fell into that. In 2016, so I'm not qualified. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not an expert or qualified. In 2016, my mum had a very serious stroke and she was hospitalized for about 6 weeks. Luckily, there was no paralysis or speech impediment. However, she did lose a swallowing reflex. And much to the amazement of the doctor, she got that back after about 3 months. Now, I knew that allopathic medicine wouldn't get it back to wellness. So I took her here, there, and everywhere, you know, for the holistic approach. So I took her to naturopaths, natural doctors, kinesiologists, nutritionists, spent an absolute fortune. I learned quite a bit as well. And there was some improvement, but nothing major. 2019, she developed very, very early stage breast cancer and was caught really early. However, when you hear that word, as you know, Marion, it's you know, it puts the fear of God into you.
Absolutely.
So went down the holistic route again and got ripped off majorly. In the end, the NHS dealt with it and they took out the tumor, and it was so successful that there was no need for chemo or radiotherapy.
Wow.
However, she did have side effects from the general anesthetic because that was her first ever surgery. She recovered from that. Then in January 2020, she passed away very suddenly and very unexpectedly from a pulmonary embolism, which is a blood clot to the lung. She had high blood pressure and diabetes. Again, like these guys who I took mum to see since 2016, they did nothing about that really. I used to take mum to see a flower remedies expert and therapist called Claire Harvey, who's a very close friend of mine. Mum used to love seeing Claire. She used to say, you know, when are we seeing Claire? When are we seeing Claire? And the week before she passed away, I took her to see Claire in the car, and I stayed in the car for half an hour so that I wouldn't get a parking ticket. And I said, "Will you go up? I'll come and join you later." In that half an hour while she is up there, and I found this out recently, she made Claire promise that she would find my purpose and mission, which is a very odd request. And Claire thought it was odd, but made the promise. Because Mum knew I wasn't happy. A week later, she passes away. I go and see Claire in February 2020 for a therapy session to deal with my grief. And at the end of the session, she says, "Oh, there's a new zeolite product coming out." And I said, "Claire, I'm not in the space. Just send me the details and I'll take a look at it." Then lockdowns start happening in March 2020. She invites me onto a webinar with Clayton, the founder of Root, and Dr. Dory. And in this interactive webinar with Clayton, I loved him, by the way, and I still do. He's such a great guy. He's very blunt, very red pill, very awake, very passionate, very funny, and just says it how it is. And he said on this webinar, the root cause of disease is toxicity. And unless you remove the toxins, then you're not going to get well. And I got very angry, not with him, but hang on a minute. For the past 4 or 5 years, I'd gone to see all these alternative practitioners who stepped out the mainstream, and not one of them talked about toxicity. So he was talking about his product, Clean Slate, and I was asking questions like, can it help with diabetes, cancer, heart disease, etc., etc. And basically the answer was yes. I ordered the product, Clean Slate. I received on the 7th of April 2020, there's 2 significant dates that year. The first is the 24th of January, Mum, and the second one is 7th of April. And I immediately noticed, not immediately, but within a few days, brain fog gone, better mental, physical energy, less triggered by stuff, and very, very lucid dreams. And I asked Clayton on a webinar in May that year, I remember it really clearly. I said to him, "I'm getting really lucid dreams." And he said, "Yeah, it's because your pineal gland is being decalcified." Mm-hmm. And I had tried for about 3-4 years, all these different supplements to try to decalcify the pineal gland, and Clean Slate does it as a side effect.
Wow, that's fantastic. And it's amazing that, because we think of, I suppose, currently we're seeing something that people are taking in a poison that's actually causing their body to have reactions. But that's not just the only thing. We also have, chemtrails. Of course, they have heavy metals because Brian gets affected by them. That goes in the water, it goes in the soil, it's in the food. It's almost, we've got EMF around us. It's almost like a whole environment is a constant battle to stay well and to keep detoxifying everything that keeps coming at us. And you must see that a lot with people that you've touched and shared about Clean Slate.
Yeah, I mean, I had absolutely no intention of sharing, but because the products were so good and I was getting amazing benefit, I started inviting people onto the calls with Dr. Dory and Clayton on Tuesdays. They loved what they had to say because it's very educational. Every week is a different topic, and there's no pushing or selling. We've seen some phenomenal results. Do you want me to
Yeah,
show
yeah,
you some
yeah.
stuff?
I'd
Yeah.
love to. And while you're doing that, because you know what's at the core for me when certainly like you, people have always come to me with things and wanted to share things. But I think what really got me with this is actually, when you were talking about getting to the root of things, something twigged there. But also what really twigged is I've always want to know who's behind this. Is this a marketer, or is this someone really genuine that has an open heart and a massive purpose behind it? And that's how I've always chosen products.
Yeah.
And did you find that with this? Did you find?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, firstly, the company launched on the 2nd of February 2020. All right, just in time for what's going on, and and what's being put into people's arms. Secondly, to answer your question, the formulator of these products is an amazing scientist called Dr. Christina Rahm. She is, Clayton, and it's Clayton's wife. Clayton is the founder of the company, but she formulated the products. And she has got many PhDs under her belt in bioscience engineering, nanotechnology. She was an adjunct professor of oncology at, I think, Johns Hopkins. Yeah, her resume is like over 250 pages long. Wow. And she used to work for Big Pharma. And she used to work for Pfizer, I think Johnson & Johnson, SmithKline, Bristol Myers Squibb. I might be wrong I'm definitely right about Pfizer.
She's been on the inside, so yeah, she certainly knows, yeah.
Yeah, and she used to design vaccines. Oh. And she actually designed an mRNA one back in the day for HIV. And that got shelved after 2 months because the animals started dying. I have the privilege of working with her very closely, and I consider her to be a good friend. She has the most humble, purest, loving heart I've ever seen. She's very kind, she's very loving, very family orientated. She's got 4 kids, and she just wants to help the world. Like literally, these guys, they've made their money. They're multimillionaires. For them, Root is about mission and purpose, especially with what's going on. And apparently, like, she's been prophesied, like, she's Christian, so is Clayton. And I've heard it said quite a few times that about 20 years ago, like, they prophesied over her that she would bring a solution for a healthcare crisis that would happen in the future. And here we are.
Yeah, and here we are.
Yeah. So, okay, let me show you some stuff. All right, so first, I'll explain Clean Slate. The key ingredient of Clean Slate is clinoptilolite zeolite, which is a volcanic crystal. What Christina has done has no other scientist has done before. She's made it so that the crystal goes into the cells and attracts the toxins. So when heavy metals like mercury, lead, arsenic, aluminium, radioactive particles, barium, strontium, etc., pesticides, and herbicides like glyphosate. Glyphosate is a major problem and not many people know about it. Mold spores and other biotoxins as well, and spike proteins, okay? So these toxins come into the cells, they get trapped in their cage-like structure, and you pee them out. They don't go anywhere else in the body. Now, in the process of these toxins coming into the crystal, silica is made bioavailable. And silica is an essential trace mineral responsible for hair, skin, nails, bones, teeth, cartilage, etc. My nails grow like crazy. I cut them the other day. I need to cut them once a week now. And when they grow, they're nice, they're thick.
Yeah.
You know. And I'm thinking, if this is doing this to my skin, hair, nails, what's it doing to the rest of me?
Yes. Internally. Yeah.
Internally. Yeah. It's got 99 trace minerals in it, and it's got vitamin C in it, but that's not enough vitamin C to supplement with. You need to supplement elsewhere. With other methods for vitamin C. So that's what Clean Slate does. I'll show you some. So here I talk about the pineal gland.
That's so important. So important.
Yeah, yeah. It's really important for our connection to source. And I have to say, since I started taking root, my connection to source is so much more effortless and easy and smooth than it was before. And I find myself when I'm praying, it's like, what do you want me to do, rather than give me this, give me that? What do you want me to do? Lead me to where you want me to be. So
it's like clears the whole, as if you're being plugged into everybody talking at once, and now it's sort of, you've just got the direct connection, and it becomes a lot clearer. Beautiful. Yeah,
absolutely. And it makes sense because, as you said before, we live in a toxic soup of pollution, chemtrails, poisoned food, water, etc. So our cells will be filthy.
Yeah.
And when you remove the filth, we're light beings. Okay, yeah. We're electromagnetic as well as biological organic beings. So our cells start to emit light. Let me show you this. Okay, so all right, this is independent scientific research by a PhD called Dr. Stefan Rao. And he's got some devices called a NILAS machine and a Rolfus machine. I think I could be mistaken. So he gave test subjects 10 drops of Clean Slate and 2 0-in pills, and this was before.
Yes.
This was 45 minutes after.
Wow.
Yeah. And I must admit, since taking these products, and by the way, I'm not going to promise or guarantee this for everyone, but it is my hope and desire. Synchronicity just seems to be, is quite phenomenal. So, okay, let me just zoom in.
Well, that happens when you're on purpose. When you're on purpose and you're really deeply connected, you're working from your heart, and that's what happens. Instead of you pushing something, you actually have people come to you in synchronistic situations. So perfect in alignment.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I strive for. I mean, obviously I've got an ego and stuff, and I get triggered. Yeah. But I'm more in my heart than ever before, and I'm so super grateful for that. Okay, so this is chakras, as you can see, we're using the same 10 Clean Slate, 2 0-in. Look at the power before.
Yes.
45 minutes.
Wow.
After.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Biological age improves as well.
Great.
I go for regular bioresonance testing. And Vanda, my practitioner, says, you've got the best results I've ever seen. And every time I go, which is every 4 to 8 weeks, my results get better and better.
Beautiful. Getting younger. Yay.
Yeah, well, biologically. Okay, so here, this is a smoker's blood. This is 10 minutes after taking 10 drops.
Wow.
And independent urine analysis to show the excretion. So let me just zoom in a bit. So here, this is someone's urine analysis 1 week before they started taking Clean Slate. Look at the mercury coming out there.
Wow.
Then they start taking 10 drops twice a day. And after 7 days, all this mercury coming out, 430% increase.
Yeah. And mercury shouldn't be in your body, people. It's not supposed to be there.
It's the worst neurotoxin known to man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let me show you just a few testimonials. All right, this guy here, Mark, worst case of psoriasis that Clayton had ever seen. He lives in Cyprus and he'd been trying for about 10 to 15 years trying to get rid of it. And the situation got so bad. So imagine he was living with this 10 to 15 years.
And in the heat, it would be just driving him crazy.
Absolutely. You know, he wouldn't be able to wear shorts, for example. And it got so bad that he got cellulitis and the doctors warned him of possible amputation.
Wow, that's serious.
Spent 30 grand trying to fix it. Friend tells him about Clean Slate. Within 3 weeks, he starts to experience amazing relief.
Wow. Look.
Yeah.
Wow.
Spent $69.
Sorting out a problem he spent 30,000 trying to fix.
Yeah. People report losing weight as well because fat cells are full of toxins. So you remove the toxins, it makes sense that people lose weight.
Yes.
Here you've got, better nails, energy, calm, better skin, some improvements on dementia. What else?
It's amazing because we don't ever think of ourselves being full of toxins. And if you think about it, the body is amazing with everything that's been happening currently. The body's been under siege, and the ability under the right environment to be able to regenerate once things have been removed. And I love the name Clean Slate because it's like wipe the slate clean, everything gone. Well,
I mean, when I first started learning about toxicity on that first webinar, I knew of heavy metals.
Yes.
But I didn't know what they did or how bad they were for you. And then it just made immediate sense. Like, for someone who doesn't believe in what you and I believe in.
Yes.
This is what I say to people. You know, the environment is polluted. Yes, it is. You know, there's emissions from factories, vehicles, etc. Yes, it is. You know, we breathe that in. Okay. Where do you think it goes when we breathe it in? Do you think it comes out of our body? And they think about it, and most of them say no. It'll be in the cells. It'll go into the cells. So you've got these fine, like, particles of crap going into the cells. What do you think it's going to do? Disrupt the cells, mess them up. What's that going to lead to? Inflammation. What does inflammation lead to? Disease. So cure the cause.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what we need to do currently, is get to the root of the problem, not just stick a band-aid over it.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, let me show you some more cool stuff. Now, going to what you were saying, talking about the current remedies for the current, can you see this, by the way?
Yes, I can, yeah.
Yeah, okay. You know, to the current pandemic. I've got a very good friend who's a live blood analyst. She's been doing it for 20 years and she's a naturopath, Caroline Mansfield. Kiwi woman, but living in the UK now. Back in November, she contacted me because she's seen some videos of people, opening up antibiotics and discovering that what was in there was metallic. She replicated it. And you can see here, she got some of the powder inside the antibiotic, mixed up with water, and look at these metal particles, okay? I took a risk and I said to her, right, mix it with Clean Slate, see what happens. This is the result. So I'll just forward it a bit. As you can see, the charge has been diminished. Still a little bit there, but most of it has been neutralized. Okay.
Oh,
so
I wouldn't have even thought that they put heavy metals in antibiotics, which are supposed to help.
Yeah, Caroline thinks this is graphene oxide or iron oxide or a bit of both.
Well, graphene oxide, Brian tells me from working in the nano space, is not something you ever put in the body, ever.
Yeah. So, and antibiotics are consumed by millions of people every day. No wonder our guts are messed up, right? Okay, so here we've got, this is Caroline's blood before.
What's that, a cholesterol crystal in there by the looks of it?
That could be the slide, a little bubble in the slide.
Yep.
Yeah, or it could be maybe a neutrophil or a white blood cell. I'm not too sure. Okay, so that was her blood, as you can see, slow moving cells. And then,
gosh, yeah, they're more round.
Yeah, they're more round and they're more fluid. They're flowing.
Yeah, they should be sticking together. I know from seeing my own blood like that. You don't want to have sticky, clumpy blood.
No, absolutely not. Yeah.
Wow.
Not at all. Not at all. Okay, so she then put some drops of Clean Slate under a microscope and did some analysis, and she was absolutely blown away. This is what she found. Crystals looking like this.
Wow.
I believe I found the rainbow-colored Starship Enterprise in Clean Slate using dark field microscopy. That's what she's using. The zeolite crystals are beautiful, many shapes and sizes, and there's structure to them.
Wow. Beautiful.
This is more. And
gosh.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So these are what Clayton has now turned and trying to trademark quantum pseudocals. They work on a quantum level and they have a quantum intelligence to them.
Beautiful. Gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just so much that is needed absolutely at the moment. I know the people that in Australia that jumped into having some of the Clean Slate and the results they've been getting is just phenomenal. And I really thank you, Sandy. I mean, not just for being my friend and that, but you've got such a beautiful heart, and you've always had a mission to be able to help somebody. And often you'd come to me with different things and it didn't resonate. But when you told me about Clean Slate, and it was specifically important for us because of Brian's body hangs on to heavy metals, then I just say, my heart just said yes. And it was a definite yes, and I just knew that this was the right thing. So, if if you hear this today and you hear how honestly Sandy is speaking, and you want to do a little bit more research or need further information, absolutely just let me know. And I'll pop the link down below this video so you can discover for yourself and have some of the beautiful experiences that many people around the world are starting to experience, and find out about clean slate, because we've not only got to clean our body, we've also got to clean that beautiful spiritual connection that we have as well.
Absolutely. And the good news is we're now in Australia. So before, shipping used to take a few weeks, as you know.
Yes.
Now we have a hub in Australia where the three core products are the greens product and the natural barrier support. That's not in Australia yet, but that'll get shipped from the US. But the delivery times are quick.
Oh, absolutely. I got my message today and I only put in an order today. So it's on its
Oh,
way.
did you?
Yes, it's on.
Brilliant.
It's not 3 weeks. So it's brilliant.
Excellent.
So
Excellent.
thank you so much, Sandy, for taking the time out just to share with us, because I know there's so many people who are looking for a solution. And, you know, they actually will find in their heart that what you say is really true.
Thank you, Marion. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.